Chapter 1, Part 2, Voices of Dissent, the Call for Change. The sun dipped lower behind the distant trees, casting long shadows across the dusty paths of the zoo. The golden light glinted off the bars and glass of each enclosure, transforming them into prison cells under the fading daylight. As the zoo grew quiet with the departure of the last visitors, a sense of anticipation hung in the air, a buzz that carried through the whispering leaves and the rustling straw, a feeling that something monumental was about to unfold. Near the old oak tree that had stood in the center of the zoo for generations, the animals gathered in a hidden clearing, careful to avoid the eyes of any lingering keepers. Eldon, the wise owl, perched high above on a gnarled branch, his silhouette framed by the twilight sky. Below him, Leo, the once mighty lion, sat on his haunches, his golden mane matted but still regal. Jasper, the heavy-set draft horse, stood nearby, his powerful frame illuminated by the last slivers of sun, while Henrietta, the hen, perched on a lower branch, fidgeted restlessly, her feathers ruffled with anticipation. The murmurs of squirrels, meerkats, and even the old tortoise filled the air, all listening intently. Eldon's voice cut through the gathering dusk like a crisp wind. "We are more than exhibits. The humans may have given us food and shelter, but they have taken our freedom in return," he began, his tone firm yet laden with the weight of centuries of wisdom. His large amber eyes scanned the assembly, seeking understanding. "The time has come for us to claim our own destinies." Leo's tail twitched as Eldon spoke. His once magnificent mane, now dulled by years behind bars, caught the light of the setting sun, making him appear as a ghost of his former glory. He shifted his weight, his claws leaving deep grooves in the earth, a symbol of his restless spirit. The crowd hushed, sensing the tension that simmered beneath Leo's words. "Eldon is right," Leo roared, though there was a crack in his voice, less of a king's command and more of a weary plea. His deep-set eyes, once fierce, now glowed with a different fire, a longing for the open plains and the thrill of the chase. "I was born to roam endless horizons, to feel the earth beneath my paws as I chased the wind. Now, I am no more than a relic behind glass, a reminder of what's been taken. They call me king, but what kind of king lives without choice, caged and controlled? We deserve better. Not just freedom, but the chance to decide our own paths, to live with dignity. If they won't grant it, then we must take it." With a big, deep breath, Leo took a step forward, his majestic presence commanding utmost attention. "Comrades," he continued, his voice getting stronger, yet still filled with passion, "look at where we are. We find ourselves in a land of plenty, yet we live in misery. The soil is rich, the air filled with the scent of freedom, yet we are denied our rightful share. Why? Because nearly the whole of our labor is stolen from us by human beings. They consume without producing, lording over us as if we are mere tools for their gain. Man is the true enemy. Remove him from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. Our labor tills the soil, our dung fertilizes it, and yet there is not one of us that owns more than his bare skin. You cows who stand before me, how many thousands of gallons of milk have you given this past year? And what has happened to that milk, which should have been breeding up sturdy calves? Every drop of it has gone down the throats of our enemies. And you, Jasper, where are those strong colts you fathered, who should have been the pride of your later years? Each one was taken away before you could see them grow into their strength. You will never see one of them again. In return for all your sweat and toil, what have you received except your bare rations and a cramped stall? Is it not crystal clear that all the evils of this life spring from the tyranny of human beings? Only get rid of man, and the produce of our labor would be our own. Almost overnight, we could become rich and free. Comrades, we must work night and day, body and soul, for the overthrow of the human race. Rebellion is our message, our goal. I do not know when it will come. It might be in a week or in 100 years. But I know, as surely as I see this straw beneath my feet, that justice will be done. The atmosphere crackled with tension as murmurs of agreement spread through the gathered creatures. From the corner of the clearing, Henrietta's small but piercing voice rang out. Her feathers puffed up with determination, she leaped down from her branch to address the group directly. "Eldon's right. We can't let them keep us caged like this," Henrietta squawked, her voice carrying a sharpness that could slice through the dusk. Despite her small size, she held herself with a confidence that rivaled even the larger animals. "We've been treated as little more than decorations, but we have minds, dreams, and a right to be free. I've spoken to the mice, to the sparrows. They all know it too. The time for change is now." Jasper took a step forward, his hooves crunching the dried leaves beneath him. His thick neck and sturdy legs spoke of years spent hauling, pulling, and carrying. He gazed up at Eldon, then across to Leo, his large, expressive eyes filled with doubt. "But what if they retaliate?" Jasper's voice rumbled low, steady and deliberate, like the slow creaking of an ancient tree. "If we challenge them, won't they fight back with the power they hold? The electric fences, the tranquilizers, and the keepers with their whips and chains?" His breath turned to mist in the cool evening air, a sign of the chill creeping in. Eldon's gaze softened as he looked down upon Jasper. "It's not about brute force, Jasper, but about strategy and unity," Eldon replied, a small, reassuring smile forming in the corner of his beak. "We've observed them closely over the years, their strengths, their weaknesses. If we plan well, if we strike when they least expect it, we can outmaneuver them. Their power lies in their tools, but ours lies in our spirit." A rustle from the edge of the gathering caught Eldon's attention. Two sleek shadows shifted behind the bushes, foxes, known for their cunning but always keeping their intentions hidden. Their eyes gleamed with a mix of curiosity and something darker, but for now they remained silent, observing the stirring rebellion from a distance. Henrietta fluffed her feathers, her energy unwavering. "We can outsmart them, just as Eldon says," she chirped enthusiastically. "We have the wisdom of Eldon, the strength of Jasper, the courage of Leo, and the speed and stealth of the smaller critters. Together we can build something better, a place where no animal is confined or ruled by another." The assembly quieted, their eyes reflecting the flickering light of hope and the dark uncertainty of what lay ahead. As the shadows lengthened and nightfall embraced the zoo, each animal felt a spark of something they had not known in years, possibility. But beneath their newfound determination, doubts lingered like shadows, waiting for the right moment to reappear. The next evening, emboldened by their earlier discussion, the animals convened once more. Eldon led the meeting, but there was a restlessness in the air. "Tonight, we act. We will unite to challenge the keepers," he announced. Leo stepped forward, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. "Let's create a distraction," he suggested, his voice steadying. "While some of us keep the keepers occupied, others can try to disable the electric fences." Henrietta fluttered her wings, excitement coursing through her. "And I can rally the smaller animals. Together, we'll make it happen." The animals buzzed with energy, each feeling the power of collective action, the thrill of potential freedom fueling their resolve. As the zoo settled into a hushed silence, the seeds of rebellion took root in the hearts of those who had gathered. As they dispersed back to their enclosures, each carried the question in their minds. Would unity lead them to freedom, or would it bring chaos? Only time would tell, but for the first time they dared to hope for something beyond the confines of their cages.